Are you looking at purchasing a home in and around the Coeur d'Alene, Idaho region and curious what the most recent real estate market trends are? In this video, I will be going over the most recent real estate market trends in and around Coeur d'Alene, Idaho for July 2026. Welcome back to my channel, Living North Idaho, where I discuss all things about real estate in and around Coeur d'Alene and living your best life in North Idaho. There were 532 homes that closed in our entire MLS for the month of July compared to 494 of July of last year. For all those sales, let's take a look at the breakdown for the popular cities in our area. 113 of those sales were in Coeur d'Alene, 96 of those sales were in Post Falls, 49 of those sales were in Hayden, and 60 of them were in Rathdrum. 33% of the closed properties sold as all cash offers, making that 178 total cash sales, which is 29 more cash sales than the previous month of June when there were 149 sales, and slightly up from July of last year when there were 161 cash sales. Now let's take a look at the breakdown for those cash sales, what prices they mostly sold in. 23 of them were under $300,000. 42 of them sold between $300,000 and $500,000. 47 of them sold between $500,000 and $750,000. 27 of those cash sales were between $750,000 and $1 million. 22 of them were between $1 million and $2 million, and 17 of them were over $2 million. The majority of the home sales were between $400,000 and $500,000, with 103 homes closed in that price range. Now that has been typical with previous months also, but $500,000 to $600,000 was not that far behind, with 82 home sales in that price range. 76 homes that sold in July sold for over $1 million. 76 homes sold for over $1 million in July. Now, when you look up those numbers compared to how many total properties we had sold, it was only 14% of the market sold for over $1 million, which is interesting when you look at how many active homes we have compared to how many active homes we have over $1 million. So currently we have 2,053 active homes in our entire MLS, and 678 of those properties are listed for over $1 million, which makes up 33% of the active listings. So again, that's just interesting to me that only 14% of the sales are over that price range, and we have so many listings over that price range. If you've looked at my other videos, you can see that that is a price range that has a lot of price changes, and I think we'll start to see a lot of them probably coming under that $1 million. But I also think it's hard just because we have such a big disconnect on our starter homes. If they're at a certain price range, yes, some of those bigger homes should be over $1 million, but there's obviously not as many buyers in that price range. The price range with the most price changes was actually $1 million to $2 million, with 143 homes having price changes in just the month of July. Now that is a different price range than previous months, but 500 to 600,000 was not that far behind, with 103 homes having price changes. Now we typically see between 400 to 500 or 500 to 600,000 having most of the price range changes. But again, I think that $1 million is starting to come into play just because of how many active listings versus sales that we actually have in that price range. Sales for the month of July were up 7.7% from July of 2025. In July of 2025, an average 30-year mortgage was around 6.7% interest rate. Now, it was slightly lower this year in July when it was 6.5%, which again is about 0.2% less than the previous year. The median sales price for July was $575,000, which was a $24,000 decrease from the previous month, but a 2.7 increase from July of 2025 when it was $560,000. The median days on market for those closed properties was 59 days. Now that is for non-distressed property and only resale. That does not include new construction. Of those homes that sold, 93 of them were new construction sales, making that 17.5%. For new construction, we still are able to find new construction under $450,000 in Coeur d'Alene, Hayden, Post Falls, and Rathdrum. Now, the majority of them are probably going to be condos or townhomes, and some of those builders are offering incentives. If you want to go a little further out, you can probably find some single-family homes in Old Town, Plummer, and Silver Valley. There is currently one active short sale in our entire MLS. So far in 2026, we have seen 3 short sales that have successfully closed, and there are currently none that are pending. We currently have 3 active REO or bank-owned properties in our entire MLS. So far in 2026, we have seen 5 that have successfully closed, and there are currently 3 that are pending. For those closed properties, 29% of the homes that closed, the seller paid some sort of seller concession at closing. Now, that could have been closing costs when they first received an offer. It could have been in lieu of repairs when the buyer did the inspection to make the sale continue forward, or it could be for buy down rates. Just 29% of those sales, the buyer and seller negotiated that the seller pay some sort of concessions. And for those homes that closed in July, 78 of them had multiple offers on them. We still are seeing a fair amount of homes coming back on the market. Now, a lot of things can happen there. Either inspections did not go well, maybe a buyer couldn't sell a property that it was contingent upon them selling, or they just couldn't negotiate terms after something happened. Either an appraisal came in low, or again, just repairs were not negotiated. We are also seeing a lot of homes expire off the market or be canceled or withdrawn. And a couple things that can happen there: obviously expired, they never got an offer or were never able to negotiate to get that property sold. And with canceled and withdrawn, the seller has just decided that they no longer want the home on the market. Now, for those closed properties, let's take a look at the breakdown for the percentage of them that closed within a specific amount of time and the sales price to original list price ratio. So with those numbers, you can see that buyers are starting to take their time. They're not in such a hurry to jump on a house unless it's obviously a great deal right out of the get-go. There are some properties that are having multiple offers, but not as many as we have had in the past. There are a lot of homes for sale. Again, a lot of them are going to be maybe in a price range that the majority of our buyers are not in, and that's why some of those homes are sitting a little bit longer. If you want to see which price ranges are leaning towards a buyer's market, a seller's market, or a balanced market, be sure to check out those videos that I also have. And this is even why it's more crucial for a seller to list their home right in the beginning. It's not a market that you want to overprice. You want to list at fair market value or slightly under to get a more competitive edge. Also, sellers, you might have to negotiate some concessions for buyers. And two, properties are not selling as quickly. It is taking more time for homes to sell. I've been talking with a lot of agents, and for the last few weeks, it kind of has slowed down in our area. But that's even more of a reason why it's best to use a local real estate agent when you're looking for property in this area. If you have any questions about real estate in and around Coeur d'Alene, please reach out. My name is Amanda Cuspert. I'm with the Phoenix Agency. And if you're enjoying my videos, please like and subscribe. Or check out any of the other videos I do